Okay, so for further appreciation regarding moment of force, let us solve problem number 8. Now in the figure, the x and y coordinates of point A are -6 meters and -3.5 meters respectively. If forces P and F generate a counterclockwise moment of 2,150 Newton meter at point O, find the x coordinate at point B. The y coordinate at this point is 5 meters. Okay, so this is point B. So the directions are in terms of coordinates. Now at point B, the x coordinate is unknown. So we used variable x to denote it, and then its y coordinate is 5. And the next is at point A, these are the coordinates. The x is -6, and then the y coordinate is -3.5. So we have only two inclined forces here. First is we have inclined force F. The magnitude is 212 Newton. And then aside from that, its direction is also given in terms of slope. So it has slope to vertical to 3 horizontal. And then on the other hand, the second force, which is P, has the magnitude which is equal to 425 Newton. And then the direction is also expressed in terms of slope. So it has 3 vertical to 4 horizontal. So basically, we are only asked to find the value of the x coordinate of point B. Okay, if the total moment generated by these two about point O is a counterclockwise moment that is equivalent to 2,150 Newton meter. Okay, so before we proceed in computing the x coordinate of point B, so let us split first the two inclined forces into their respective x and then y. Okay, so therefore let's start with force P. So since the directions again are slope, so meaning to say the best approach is by using ratio in proportion or similar triangle. So its x component is definitely the x component of the slope, which is 4, and then multiplied by the magnitude of the force, which is 425, and then divided by the hypotenuse side of the slope, which is computed using Pythagorean theorem. So that is 4 square plus 3 square. Okay, so just substitute the magnitude of P, which is again 425, and by simply using our calculator, its value is equivalent to 340 Newton. On the other hand, in computing its y component, so definitely as ratio in proportion pa rin. So this time, the vertical component of the slope, which is 3, multiplied by P, and then divided by the hypotenuse side of the slope. Okay, which is again square root of 4 square plus 3 square. So substitute P, which is 425, definitely we will be having the value of our y component, which is equivalent to 255 Newton. Now let us proceed to the x and then y component of force F. Okay, so to compute the x component, so ratio in proportion, so x component of the slope, which is 3, multiplied by F divided by the hypotenuse side of the slope, which is again computed using Pythagorean theorem, or square root of 3 squared plus 2 squared. Substitute the magnitude of F, so that is equivalent to 212. So by using our calculator, its value is equivalent to 176.39 Newton. And the next is, in order to compute its y component, ratio in proportion pa rin. So 2 multiplied by F divided by the hypotenuse side, which is this one, and then substitute F. So therefore, this is the value of the y component. Now, let us simplify the figure instead of focusing on the inclined orientation of the force in terms of their respective components na lang para mas madali ang analysis. So magiging ganito. This will become the simplified orientation of our figure. Now, let us focus on the given coordinates. Start tayo doon sa point A. Okay, so if you notice, the x component is a negative value. So meaning to say, the point is located on the left side of the y-axis. And then since the y coordinate is negative also, so it is an indication that the point is located below the x-axis. But you have to understand that the negative signs for coordinates are just an indication that the point is located either on the left side of the y-axis if that is x coordinate, or located below the x-axis if the coordinate involved is y coordinate. Okay, indication lamang sila ng location nila, eksaktong location nila doon sa Cartesian plane. Ibig sabihin, kapag ipoproject na natin dito yung distance, there is no need for us to include the negative sign. For example, at point A, so definitely since this is -6, there is no need for us to include the negative sign kasi the x coordinate again simply represents the horizontal distance from the point involved to the point of origin. So kung dito, kapag instead of x coordinate, distance na lang siya, so its distance from the point of origin is 6 in the horizontal direction. And the next is yung y coordinate niya, which is 3.5 if we want to express it in terms of distance. So definitely that is the vertical distance from point O to point A. So this is 3.5. So if you notice, we are not anymore including their negative sign. Okay, and the next is the distance of point B from the point of origin or point O. So the x coordinate is x, so that is unknown, but still the horizontal distance from the point involved, which is point B, to the point of origin, which is point O. And then next is the y coordinate, which is 5. So it is simply the vertical distance from point B to the point of origin. Okay, now remember that the counterclockwise moment generated by these two forces about point O is a counterclockwise moment whose magnitude is 150. Take note of that. So meaning to say, we have already an idea where to get moment center. So strategically speaking, it would be point O kasi given na yung total moment dito eh. So therefore, it will be the point of origin that we will be using as our point of rotation. So therefore, assuming clockwise sense of rotation to be positive, so summation moment about point O is going to be, let us start with force F muna. Let us start with force F, the moments generated by the components of force F. So X component, so the rotation will be counterclockwise, and then the moment arm is 3.5. So that is equivalent to negative Fx times the moment arm 3.5. And the next is the moment generated naman by the Y component of F. So this time clockwise, the moment arm is 6. Okay, and the next is the moments generated by the components of force P. So start tayo doon sa X component niya. So the rotation it is generating about point O is clockwise, and then the moment arm is 5. So take note that the moment arm must be the shortest distance. And we can only classify the distance as the shortest one if it is perpendicular with the line of action of the force involved. So again, the moment generated by the X component is positive Px multiplied by the moment arm, which is 5. And then lastly is the moment generated by the Y component. So counterclockwise, the moment arm is the unknown X coordinate X. Okay, now take note that the total summation or the vector summation of the individual moment about point O is also the total moment that we will get, which is already given. It is already specified by our problem. So the magnitude again is 2,150. However, you have to be mindful of the given direction. Okay, so sabi dito, it is a counterclockwise moment. Bakit kailangan? Kasi take note that we are getting the vector value of the moment. So meaning to say, if its direction is counterclockwise, it must be negative. Okay, tapos i-substitute natin yung magnitude ng X and then Y components ng F at saka ng force P. So nakuha na natin yung X component ng F sa previous slide. So balikan natin. Okay, so ito yung X and then Y component ng F. Ito naman yung X at saka Y component ng P. So it is simply direct substitution. So substitute natin sila isa-isa. So to simplify this, magiging ganito, one equation, one unknown. We will finally get the value of x, which is 15.44. However, hindi pa tayo tapos. You have to take note that we are asked to find the value of the x coordinate. Ibig sabihin, it must be conforming to the rules of Cartesian plane. Anong ibig kong sabihin? Yung x kasi ay yung x coordinate ng point B, and if you notice, according to our figure, point B is located on the left side of the y-axis. So yung nakuha nating x must be a negative value. Okay, so that is just the important detail that you need to note just in case you are asked to find the value of distance but in terms of coordinate. Okay, check mo na muna kung saan yung eksaktong location ng point, kung yan ba ay nasa kaliwa or kanan ng y-axis or nasa taas or nasa baba ng x-axis.